Hello guys, good morning all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. Shall we begin?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the screen? Alkaline earth metals, second year group.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine guys. So we'll start now. So second year group elements, right? So what are the second year group elements? Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. These are the group elements. And what is their atomic numbers? Beryllium is 4, magnesium is 12, calcium 20, 20 plus 18, how much? 38, 38 plus 18, 56, 56 plus 32, 88. This is their atomic numbers. Now we'll write their electronic configuration. Beryllium follows helium configuration, right? And magnesium, neon configuration. And this is argon configuration, krypton, xenon, and radon configurations they will follow. Here, they are second group elements, right? So it is in the valency, they have 2 electrons only in s orbital, 2s2, 3s2. This one is 4s2, 5s2, 6s2, and 7s2. Now guys, tell me what is their valence electronic configuration? Valence electron configuration is inert gas and ns2, isn't it? Inert gas and ns2. So they can show maximum +2 oxidation state. What is a common oxidation state of second group elements? Common oxidation state is +2 due to they have only 2 valency electrons. Are you guys following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Girls?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay. Listen. Here inert gas means a noble gas. Inert gas, you can also write it as noble gas. Noble gas. So more than noble gas, you have 2 electrons in the valence shell. And these second A group elements are also called as alkaline earth metals, right? We call them as alkaline earth metals. It is due to the reason I am writing here. Their oxides their oxides and hydroxides. Their oxides and hydroxides are alkaline in nature. Alkaline means basic in nature. Alkaline in nature. That's what we call them as alkaline earth metals. Okay, have you understood this? Next, their properties we'll discuss now. The first property of alkaline earth metals is atomic and ionic radius. Now tell me what happens to their atomic and ionic radius from top to bottom? Increases obviously, right? Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium. Okay, radon is a radioactive element. Okay, we don't include in our regular studies. It is a radioactive element. So only we take the main group elements. So what happens to the atomic or ionic radii? Increases down the group, right? As the number of shells increases, left to right, what happens to the size? Increases. But their size when compared with the first group elements, more or less. First year group and second year group I am comparing now. Which is more size?
1A.
First year group is only more size. Okay. Because it is a first group, as you from left to right, what happens in the periods? Atomic radius or ionic radius decreases.
Decreases.
So atomic radius of the second group elements are smaller than the first group elements. What is the reason for this? As you are going from left to right?
Nuclear charge increases.
Okay, nuclear charge increases, right? As you're going from left to right in the periods, nuclear charge increases. Increased due to increased nuclear charge. This is the reason for it. Okay. Next one, please take a screenshot of this or note down this first. Okay. Next. Next property I'm going to discuss is second one, ionization enthalpies. Now tell me what happened to the ionization enthalpies from top to bottom. As size increases, ionization enthalpies decreases. So here I'll simply write beryllium to beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium. From beryllium to barium, as the size increases, what happens? Ionization energy decreases. This is the first point. Okay. Now compare with the first A group elements. Ionization energy. We have two types of ionization energy, right? First ionization energy, if you compare, which is more, tell me, first group or second group? Second group is having what type of configuration? NS2 type of configuration. And the first group is having NS1 type of configuration. Now tell me which will have more ionization energy?
Second year.
Obviously, second group, right? Because completely filled configurations are more stable. Okay. Next, I'll compare second ionization energy. Second ionization energy of second A group elements. What is their configuration now? NS1, right? Second ionization energy I'm talking about. Next to first, second ionization energy of first group elements. You will get NS0. That means before that you can have NP6 configuration, and this is NS0. Now, which is more tough to remove the electron? Tell me, guys. It is following eighth group configuration. This is having inert gas configuration, right? So first ionization energy is greater for second group elements, and second ionization energy is greater for first A group elements. This is very important point. Have you understood this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Next, third concept, hydration energy. Tell me, what is hydration energy? When water molecules surround the central metal atom or cation. Hydration energy. Okay. What happens to the hydration energy of first, second group elements? Tell me. Hydration energy increases or decreases as the size increases? Hydration energy is found by their metal cations. Beryllium plus 2 to barium plus 2. What happens to the size? As the size increases, hydration energy decreases, isn't it? As size increases, hydration energy decreases. Then which one will have more hydration energy? Hydration energy order is called beryllium plus 2 is greater than what next? Magnesium plus 2, calcium, strontium, and barium plus 2. So this is hydration energy order. Okay. Now compared to the first A group elements, which one will have more hydration energy? Which one will have more size? First group elements will have more size. So they will have
First group, sir.
Which
First
one will
group,
have?
sir. First group is larger.
First group will have larger sizes, so it will have less hydration energy. This is hydration energy. Second A group will have more hydration energy. Okay. So hydration enthalpies of alkaline or larger than alkali metals, right? So they exist as hydrated salts. Examples, because they have large hydration energy, they exist as hydrated, more extensively hydrated they are. So magnesium chloride exists as magnesium chloride with 6 moles of water because it is having larger hydration energies, right? And another example like calcium chloride, it also have 6 moles of water. But whereas sodium chloride and potassium chloride of first group elements, they does not form hydrated forms. Okay. Only second group is forming hydrated. Okay. Note down this. Next property I am moving to. Take a screenshot.
Sir, one show example, sir.
This comparison of first group and second group is always important, guys. Now we'll write their physical properties. What are the physical properties of them? Okay, first thing, they are silvery white. They are silvery white, okay, shining, lustrous. Lustrous means they are shining in nature. And they are soft, but harder than first group elements. But harder than first A group elements. This is the first physical property. Second one, their melting and boiling points, if you compare melting and boiling points. Their melting and boiling points are greater than first group elements. Second A is greater than first A group elements. Why? Due to the small size. Due to the small size and two valency electrons, they can form more stronger bonds when compared to the first group elements. So what is the main reason for this? Due to their small sizes. Next, electropositivity. What happens to the electropositivity as you are going down the group? The tendency to lose electron increases or decreases? Tell me, as the size increases. As the size increases, what happens, guys? From left to right? Size increases. So tendency to lose electron.
Increases.
Tendency to lose electron increases. So electropositivity also increases, right? So electropositivity also increases. Next, note on these things. Next, we'll move to their flame test. Flame test characteristic colors are very, very important in this. In the flame test, listen, this is very important in qualitative analysis. Here, what are the group elements we have? Beryllium, magnesium, calcium,
Second group.
strontium, and barium. Here, the first two elements, especially, they won't give any characteristic colors due to their small size and high nuclear force of attraction on the valence electrons. That does not give flame test. Okay. They're sure that electrons are strongly bound by the nuclear force of attraction. So this flame cannot excite the electrons. That's what beryllium and magnesium cannot give. What is the reason for this? Electrons are strongly bound by nucleus. So excitation not possible. Okay, but calcium gives you brick red color. And this one, strontium, calcium gives you brick red, strontium is crimson red color, and barium is apple green. Okay, one more one point I skipped here. Here I said they are, all of them are alkaline earth metals. Can you see this? This second
Yes, sir.
group elements are alkaline earth metal, but there is an exception, except beryllium. Beryllium is not considered as alkaline earth metals. It is due to diagonal relationship with next group element, aluminum. Okay, beryllium, lithium, beryllium, boron, aluminum. Sorry, finish. Take out this. What are the elements now? Lithium, sodium, beryllium, magnesium, boron, aluminum. Now, what is the diagonal relationship now? Diagonally placed elements. Lithium is in diagonal with magnesium. Beryllium is in diagonal with aluminum. So now our interest area is beryllium and aluminum. Okay. Due to the diagonal relationship with aluminum, beryllium is not considered as alkaline earth metals. Very, very important point, guys. Okay. Shall I move to our concepts now? This one, flame test. Beryllium and magnesium does not give flame test. What is the reason for that? That electrons, due to the small size, electrons are strongly bonded by the nuclear force of attraction. So that flame, okay, is not enough to excite the electrons. So that's why this having a characteristic colors, so we will use them in qualitative analysis. Qualitative analysis by, it is also called as flame photometry. Flame test is also called as flame photometry. You guys listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is about their physical properties, guys. They are silvery white, lustrous, and soft but harder than first group elements. Okay, so when comparing hardness, which is more harder, second year group more harder than first group elements. And melting and boiling points are also greater for second group elements due to the small size. Electropositivity increases down the group because size increases, tendency to lose electron increases. Now flame test, beryllium and magnesium does not give flame test due to the small size. Electrons strongly get bonded by the nucleus force of attraction. Calcium, strontium, barium will give positive test, positive flame test. They give some type of colors. They falls in visible region. They are brick red, crimson, and apple green. Okay, so this is flame test is also called as flame photometry. Okay, next, have you finished it off? Please note down it faster. Next, we'll move to chemical properties. Chemical properties of second group elements. Okay, guys. Here, now first compare the chemical reactivity of first group and second group. Which is more reactive? Tell me. First group or second group? Just guess.
Second group.
First group. First group.
Fourth.
First group.
First group is more reactive. What is the reason for this? What is the reason? Because first group have more sizes, second group have less size compared to this. So here second group are having less reactivity due to small size. And comparatively, I am talking about only comparison with first and second groups. And compared to first group, they have small size and high ionization potential, right? So you have to remove the electrons, right? So reactivity is greater for first group elements only. And this reactivity down the group increases or decreases? Beryllium to barium. As the size increases, what happens? Tendency to lose electrons increases, electropositivity increases, rate of reaction also increases. Okay, beryllium to barium, reactivity increases. You can easily disturb the outermost electron cloud. Okay, so this is chemical property, basic idea. First group elements will have more reactivity than second group elements. Now the first one in this, reaction with atmospheric air. Reaction with atmospheric air. Now let's say in this, I will also include one more thing here, reaction with atmospheric air and atmospheric moisture or water. Okay, listen now. So here, beryllium and magnesium, they are kinetically inert. They are kinetically inert to oxygen and water. Kinetically inert to oxygen and water. What is the reason for this? The reason for this is because of the formation of oxide layer. So what is this oxide layer? Okay, they form their reactivity is almost inert with atmospheric oxygen and water due to the formation of oxide layer. Here oxide layers are nothing but beryllium oxide and magnesium oxides. This about more about oxide layers will come in the third group. There we'll discuss. This oxide layer will form on the surface on their surface. Okay, so this is the first thing in reaction with the atmospheric air and water. Next one, when but they will give you on reaction with the atmospheric air at a high temperatures. Okay, on ignition with the atmospheric air on ignition. Here you are supplying some amount of energy. On ignition with atmospheric air, they will produce beryllium oxide and beryllium nitride. What is the name of this? This is an oxide and this is a nitride. Magnesium will also give you this kind of oxides and nitrides. Magnesium. Are you girls following?
Yes, sir.
Okay, magnesium due to the more electropositive when it reacts with air on ignition, this will also give you magnesium oxide and magnesium nitride, same nitrates and oxides. Okay, this is enough. Now if you want to write a balanced equation, I'll give you here magnesium on reaction with oxygen, 2 moles here. So what you are going to get? Magnesium oxide. Okay, magnesium on reaction with the nitrogen, what you are going to get? Mg3N2. Okay, so 3 moles of magnesium you can take. This is a balanced equation. Okay, now done this thing. Okay, take a screenshot or okay, next I'm moving to the next concept. Reaction with halogens. Reaction with halogens. So what happens in this? So here, when metals, this is very, very important concept, guys. Okay, some exceptions are there in this. When metal on reaction with any halogen, what is the X here? Here X would be your fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Anything. It will form dihalides, MX2 type. Okay. Suppose magnesium on reaction with chlorine. What you are going to get? MgCl2 like this. Okay. But there are some special cases in this where the preparation methods are different for beryllium fluoride. But beryllium and beryllium fluorides and chlorides cannot be used this method because fluorines are more reactive, right? So when you directly heat the fluorine with this metal atoms, that reaction is uncontrollable because of the high reactivity of fluorine atom. So that's why beryllium fluoride is prepared by different method. It is prepared by thermal decomposition of NH4 to BF4. this is a compound used in it. Thermal decomposition of
Sir, you can
ammonium
scroll up.
beryllium tetrafluoride. So let's see
This
what
is, sir.
happens on heating this compound. Thermal heating. You will get 2 moles of ammonia plus 2 moles of HF, and finally your product beryllium fluoride. You are looking for MX2 type of compounds, right? So this is MFX2 compound, beryllium fluoride. Okay. And BeCl2 is also conveniently prepared. It is even more good method than this direct reaction with the halogens. So BeCl2 is also conveniently prepared by their metal oxides, beryllium oxides, on reaction with carbon and chlorine. It is a reversible reaction. The temperatures are using 600 to 800 kelvins. You will get beryllium chloride and carbon monoxide. Here, the carbon monoxide which is formed should be removed immediately. Tell me why? Because according to Le-Chatelier's principle, okay, if you want to make it always a forward reaction, as soon as the products are formed, you have to remove this. So reaction will be always in the forward direction. You heard about Le-Chatelier principle?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. The carbon monoxide which is formed in this reaction should be removed immediately so that the reaction is always in a forward direction. Reaction is always in forward direction. So you will get more amount of BeCl2. So this is actual preparation of metal halides. Okay. This method you can use it for bromine and iodine and other chlorides also, MgCl2 for this. But for the preparation of BeF2 and BeCl2, beryllium halides especially, use these methods. Like this magnesium chlorides, you can go for this regular method. Okay. So very, very important points, these two. Okay. Questions may be asked from these important areas only. So where little exceptions are there, from there only they will ask. Okay. Note down these things.
Yes, can you scroll up, sir?
Or take a
Wait, sir.
screenshot. Finished?
Sir? Hello, sir? Sir?
Next method. Reaction with
Hello, sir.
yes.
Sir, explain in the above reaction, sir, what is the principle involved, sir?
Okay. According to Le-Chatelier's principle. Okay. This comes in your chemical equilibrium, guys. Equilibrium chapter. Okay. Next one. Reaction with the hydrogen. So what is reaction with the hydrogen? How it is going to help formation of hydrates? Okay. Simply see this. Metals of second group elements on reaction with the hydrogen, they form MH2 type. We call them as metal hydrates. Metal hydrates. Okay. You can take any of these. But here M is equal to beryllium cannot form this direct in this way. Magnesium, calcium, strontium and barium you can take. Beryllium is more conveniently prepared beryllium hydrates upon direct heating with look at this beryllium hydride preparation I am writing, except this is an exception, beryllium hydride preparation. They will not follow this method. It is prepared by using beryllium chloride in the presence of a strong reducing agent, lithium aluminum hydride. What is the name of this, guys? Lithium aluminum hydride. It is a strong reducing agent. Strong reducing agent. So you will get 2 moles of beryllium hydride. Along with that, some byproducts. Your main important compound is this. This is actual product. Okay, beryllium hydride is prepared on reaction with beryllium chloride and strong reducing agent. You will get beryllium hydride. Remaining hydrides you can directly prepare by this method. Like remaining means magnesium on direct combination with hydrogen upon heating. You have to use some heat here. You get magnesium hydrides. But beryllium hydride is prepared by beryllium chloride and lithium aluminum hydride. Next one. Okay, note down these things. Next, fourth one is reaction towards acids or reaction with acids. Reaction with acids. So what happens in this reaction with acids? Let's see that. Suppose any metal compound on reaction with, say it is a HCl. What it is forming? MCl2 metal chlorides and hydrogen gas is liberating. Hydrogen gas liberated. Okay, suppose here I am taking magnesium example. On reaction with HCl, what it is forming? MgCl2, 2 moles of hydrochloric acid you can take, and 1 hydrogen gas is releasing. Okay. Suppose if you take metal on reaction with any acid, they are saying. So first I have chosen HCl. Now I'll choose another acid. This metal on reaction with, say it is sulfuric acid, H2SO4. So it will form MSO4 type of compound, metal sulfate, and hydrogen gas is releasing. So this is HCl acid reaction with HCl acid reaction with sulfuric acid. Suppose instead of M, if I'll take calcium on reaction with sulfuric acid, what it is going to form, guys? Calcium sulfate and hydrogen gas liberation. This is reaction with acids. So hydrogen gas is releasing here. How many moles of hydrogen gas is releasing in all the cases?
1, sir.
1 mole. So how much volume it occupies, guys? 1 mole of any gas at STP occupies how much volume?
22.4.
22.4.
Occupies 22.4 liters of volume they occupies. So here 22.4 liter of hydrogen gas is releasing, isn't it? Okay, this is reaction with acids. Next, fifth one, the reducing nature. Okay, they are also strong reducing agent natures like first group elements but the reducing power of first A group elements is more than that of second group elements. Reducing power is more for first group elements compared to second group. Because it is due to the reducing means which reduces the other one, right? The one which readily gives electrons to the other one, that acts as a strong reducing agent. That's it. Okay. So that's why in ionization potentials of first group are lesser than second group, right? So the first group elements will readily give electrons. So reducing nature is more for first group elements only. Okay. That's the only thing. Nothing is there in it. Next, sixth one. Reaction with liquid ammonia. In the first group, we have done it okay nicely. There, electrons are forming. Here also the same thing will form. Cation and ammoniated electrons will form. Okay. So this alkaline earth metals, second group elements, will dissolve in ammonia. So they can form. Look at this. I am taking some moles of ammonia. That number of moles of ammonia I have taken is divided into two parts, X plus Y. Converting into, so some part of X ammonia will move towards metal. So which charge they will form? What is the normal oxidation state of these group elements? +2, right?
+2.
So it is X moles are going towards a +2 oxidation state of metal, and some Y moles are moving towards electron. How many moles of electrons will form? 2 moles, because it is +2 charges forming, right? And this solution is now having deep blue black color. Blue and black color mixture. Okay. Is it over? That's it. Next, their uses we'll discuss now. Second group elements uses. So one by one. The first use of it. They are mostly used in alloys. Here copper and beryllium alloy is used as springs. Okay, is used in the preparation of springs, high strength springs manufacturing. Okay, that is our first use. Next, beryllium is used in the manufacturing of or making of. It is used in the making of windows of X-ray tubes. Windows of X-ray tubes. Next, third point of this is here magnesium and aluminum combination alloys is used in aircraft industry because of the lightweight metals. Okay, it is used in aircraft industry. Okay, the parts of aeroplanes were made up of magnesium and aluminum combination alloys. Next, suspension of magnesium hydroxide with water. Okay, this composition is called milk of magnesia. The milk of magnesia. It is used as antacid. It is in early days, it is used to treat ulcers, okay, stomach ulcers. Antacid. And another important is magnesium carbonate. Magnesium carbonate, it is an ingredient in toothpaste. It is also used in toothpaste. This is one of the ingredient only. Next, the group element radium. Radium salts. They were used in radiotherapy. Okay, this radiotherapy is used to treatment of cancer. Okay, guys, have you understood its uses? What are the uses, guys? Copper and beryllium, it is used in springs, high strength springs, and beryllium is used in X-ray tube windows. Magnesium alloys are used in aircraft industry. This magnesium hydroxide and some water mixture is used as, it is known as milk of magnesia. Its name is milk of magnesia. Composition is this, magnesium hydroxide and water. And it is used as antacid. Antacid is for stomach ulcers treatment. Okay, magnesium carbonate is used in toothpaste, and the radium salts, it is used in radiotherapy. Radiotherapy purpose is treatment of cancer. Okay, these are the uses. Next, some general compounds we will discuss of second group elements. Okay, shall I remove this part? Scrolling down.
Yes, sir.
Now listen. Some general compounds we will discuss. Here is adding characteristics of alkaline earth metal compounds. New concept hereafter. Note on this. Compounds of alkaline earth metal compounds. Okay, so one by one. What is their common oxidation state, guys? +2. Oxidation state. Oxidation state is +2. And most of these second A group elements are ionic in nature. They are ionic in nature. But ionic nature, if you compare first group and second group, which is more ionic? First A groups only more ionic. So they are ionic, but less ionic than first group elements. But some important points I am highlighting here. But the oxides, beryllium and magnesium, oxides and other compounds like sulfates, carbonates, all beryllium and magnesium oxides and other compounds, or mostly they have covalent nature than the respective group oxides. Covalent nature. So what is the special behavior of this covalent nature of beryllium and magnesium oxides? What is the reason? Can anyone answer this? They're especially covalent in nature. The reason for them is, what is the reason for them?
Less cation size.
Due to their small size. First thing.
Small size.
Small size. What is the reason? Due to small sizes. Okay, that is the reason here. Next, in this, the first compounds we are going to discuss is oxides and hydroxides. Oxides and hydroxides of second group elements. Okay, listen. Oxides and hydroxides of second group elements. Here, how they will form? Metal on reaction with oxygen. We already have done this. Metal oxides, they will form. Here, most of these metal oxides have rock salt. They all of them have rock salt structure. Rock salt structure means their structure resembles with the sodium chloride. Okay. Next, here the important point is beryllium oxide only have covalent in nature, and remaining all are ionic in nature. Just now we have done this, right? It is covalent in nature. And how you will get hydroxides? These metal oxides on reaction with water molecule, you will get metal hydroxides. Okay, now the properties of this metal hydroxide. Important concept this is now. Metal hydroxide properties. The properties like their solubility. Is an important point. This is their solubility, their thermal stability, and basic character. And their basic character increases down the group. Increases down the group. As you are going down the group, stability, solubility, thermal stability, basic character of these increases down the group. So what is the first one? Beryllium is a special case. Okay. So first I'll start from magnesium hydroxide. Magnesium, beryllium magnesium. Next, what is the next one? Calcium hydroxide, strontium hydroxide, and barium hydroxide. Now tell me what happens to their basic character. Basic character means the donation capacity of OH minus ions. As the size increases, what happens? Donation capacity of OH increases. So not just basic character, their solubility increases, thermal stability increases, and basic character also increases. Here, one important point about beryllium hydroxide. Beryllium hydroxide is amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric in nature. This year mains question this was. They have given different compounds. Which of the following are amphoteric in nature? Beryllium hydroxide and beryllium oxide. This is also amphoteric in nature. You have to choose these answers now. This is mains 2021 question. Both of them are amphoteric in nature. So amphoteric in nature means they reacts with both acids and bases, right? They reacts with both acids and bases. So how they react? Let's see that. So beryllium hydroxide, since it is amphoteric in nature, it reacts with basic compounds, hydroxy solutions, and gives you berylate ion, BOH4. What is the name of this? Berylate ion. This berylate ion is having,
Sir,
yes,
hello, sir. What do you mean by amphoteric nature, sir?
the amphoteric nature means which reacts with both
Acid and bases.
acids and bases. Okay. So now first I'm taking reaction with the base. Now it also reacts with acids. This beryllium hydroxide on reaction with acid. Some amount of water is also added there. The product is same again. BOH4Cl2. This is also berylate ion. Here, now the property of beryllium is changing from where to where. Let's see small discussion in this. Beryllium hydroxide. What is the size of shape of this? There are only 2 sigma bonds, so it is having sp hybridization with a linear structure, right? Now what happens to that product now? Beryllium hydroxide 4 times it is there. And one of the OH is coordinate covalent bond. Okay, guys. So total there are 4 bonds around the beryllium atom. So now what you can expect? What is the shape of this?
Tetrahedral.
It is in sp3 hybridization with a tetrahedral geometry. Okay. So these are the geometrical changes of beryllium in this equation. Okay, guys. It is sp and linear, the first one. On reaction with acid and bases, it is converting into sp3 and tetrahedral. And the name of the compound is berylate ion. This is berylate ion. Okay. Next one. So this is first their oxides and hydroxides concept. Note down this.
So can you explain the solubility and thermal stability reasons?
Which
once
one?
again? Solubility and thermal stability.
Thermal stability increases down the group. Thermal solubility means dissociation capacity. Because the hydroxide ions are a little bigger in size. Okay, this is bigger size cations and bigger size anions of barium and hydroxide will also get stabilizes. Okay, so one word only I given for all the characters: solubility, thermal stability, basic character. All of them increases down the group. Okay.
Yes.
Next one. Next one is their halides properties now. Halides of second A group. What is their properties? Okay. Here, halides of second group means beryllium halide, beryllium. Okay. And magnesium halides, magnesium to barium halides. So this beryllium halide only have special case. It is a covalent in nature. It is a covalent halide, but magnesium to barium, they are ionic halides, ionic in nature. Again, it is covalent character. It is due to the small size. Beryllium halide is only covalent. Remaining all are ionic in nature. Okay. So here we will discuss about beryllium chloride structure. Beryllium chloride is having chain structure in the solid state. Important points, guys. Having chain structure. Same beryllium chloride will have, okay, it is having chloro bridged compounds. Chloro bridged, it is forming as a chloro bridged dimer in the vapor phase. So two different phases, solid phase and gas phase. Okay,
Sir, chloro-bridged means also linear.
chloro bridged,
Means also linear.
no, bridged compounds are above the plane. Now I'll show you that. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so take one beryllium chloride, suppose this is one beryllium chloride. Take another beryllium chloride. They are forming a dimer, right? So now bond between this is forming. So this is here, these two chlorines, 1, 2 chlorines acts as bridged positions. You can take another BeCl2. They all have this type of linkages. So now here chlorine is acting as a bridged atom, right? So in all the cases, this is in the vapor phase. Okay, this vapor phase BeCl2, it is forming a dimer. Focus on this. All dimers are linked together now. This vapor phase, on heating at 1200 kelvins, it will converting into a linear chain structure. It will converting into what? Just B, there won't be any bridged positions. This is one BeCl2, say it is one BeCl2. This is one BeCl2. So it is converting into linear. Okay, linear monomeric compound it is forming. So this is what BeCl2 special characters. Okay, guys. Note on these things. Have you noted down this? Next, third one. Guys, just remind me when it is ticks 9 o'clock. Okay. Next, salts of oxoacids. Salts of oxoacids. So in this, the first one we're talking about is carbonates. Second group, carbonates. What is the general formula of carbonates? MCO3, metal carbonates. Okay, metal carbonates. Here, I'll discuss all the things at a time. Next, sulfates. What is the general formula of sulfates? MSO4, metal sulfates. Third one, their nitrates. MnO3 type metal nitrates. These metal nitrates on decomposition, MnO3, right? NO3 2 times it is. These metal nitrates decomposes on heating and they form the respective metal oxides and nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. So here this M stands for any group element, beryllium to barium. So here their characteristic property is their solubility, guys. their solubility. I'll discuss about their solubility now. All compound solubility at a time. Now we'll talk about solubility. This is important point again. Solubility. So wherever I stress like star marks, I'll keep. You have to focus more on them, guys. They are frequently occurring. They are recurring questions. Okay. So first I will, in the solubility concept, first I will talk about alkaline earth metals hydroxides. Okay. What happened to the hydroxides? Tell me solubility. Just now I told you. They're hydroxides, metal hydroxides. Solubility increases down the group, I said. Okay. Metal hydroxides, solubility increases from left to right. Okay. Why it increases? Reason is the lattice energy decreases down the group and hydration energy increases down the group. That's why solubility increases. Very, very important point. Solubilities, all solubilities are important. Hydroxides solubility increases down the group. What is the reason, guys? Due to lattice energy decreases, hydration energy increases. If lattice energy decreases, they can easily soluble. Hydration energy means the water accumulation capacity increases, so solubility also increases. Next one, solubility of carbonates and sulfonates. Carbonates and sulfates. So what is the general formula? You know, just now I have given you metal carbonates and sulfates. Here, solubility, what happens to the solubility of this compound? Solubility decreases down the group. You girls following?
Yes, sir.
Solubility decreases down the group. What is the reason for this? So for metal carbonates, what is happening? As the size of the anion in this carbonates means size is CO3 2 minus, so big size. Sulfates SO4 2 minus, they are having big sizes. Okay, size is big, and you are talking about only their metal carbonates and sulfates. So size of the anion is almost the same, right? Okay, size of the anion is almost the same down the group, but compared to metal, it is more. Compared to metal, it is more. So size is big as compared to metal cation. As compared to metal cations. Okay. So here, lattice energy is almost constant. Lattice energy, as you are going down the group, lattice energy is almost constant. So this effect is minimum, but hydration enthalpies decreases down the group. Hydration energy decreases. So lattice energy effect is almost constant, so we will not consider that. But hydration energy of carbonates and sulfonates decreases down the group. So that is the reason why solubility decreases. So here, what are the reasons? Due to. And here is the reason due to. In hydroxides, their solubility increases down the group due to decrease in lattice energy and increase in hydration energy. Decrease in lattice energy and increase in hydration energy. But in carbonates, lattice energy is almost constant, but hydration energy decreases. So only the factor which affects the solubility is only hydration energy. So hydration energy decreasing, so solubility is also decreasing in carbonates and sulfonates. So this is very, very important point, solubility case. Next one, take a screenshot of it. Okay, take it now. Next one. Listen. Next one is some anomalous behavior of beryllium. So beryllium is having special case, right? Because it is in diagonal relationship with the aluminum of third group element. So now what I am discussing is anomalous behavior of beryllium. So beryllium is only its oxides and hydroxides. If you compare with the other group hydroxides, it is only having covalent nature. Remaining all of them are ionic in nature, right? So why beryllium is having a diagonal relation? Beryllium is in diagonal relationship with aluminum. Which group element it is? Third A group element. They are friends now. They behave like same. Okay. So here, so why? What is the impact on having diagonal relationship with the next group element? That means this beryllium is almost behaves like aluminum only in almost all aspects. Okay, the first point I'm discussing in this, beryllium is having small size, small ionic size. Say it is small ionic size. And they have, due to small ionic size, it will have high ionization enthalpy, isn't it? And due to this, it will form covalent compounds. It will form covalent compounds and it is easily hydrolyzed. And it is easily hydrolyzed. First point. Second point, beryllium coordination number. What is meant by coordination number? Number of atoms around the central atom. Number of nearest neighbors is called coordination number. Beryllium coordination number, okay, is maximum 4 only. It will not exceed than 4 because it is having only 4 orbitals in its valence shell. What is the reason? Because you have this beryllium, because having 4 orbitals in valence shell. Can you name that 4 orbitals which are present in the valence shell? Can anyone answer this question? What are the 4 orbitals? Beryllium belongs to which period? Second period, right?
Yes, sir.
Second period means which orbitals are present in this?
So 1, 2s and 3.
Second shell, right? Here, yes, it is yes. In P, we have again 3 orbitals, Px, Py,
PV.
Pz. So 1 s orbital, 3 p orbitals. Okay, guys. So they are the 4. 1 s orbital, 3 p orbitals. So it will not extend its coordination number more than 4 because it is having only 4 orbitals in its valency shell. But other group elements, form 6 coordination. They can form 6 coordination by utilizing from third period onwards D shell will start, right? D orbitals. So that's what they can utilize D orbitals. So this is anomalous behavior. Its covalence is maximum 4. Where you can see its covalence is maximum 4 in this example, you can see that. Look at this. This beryllium is attached to how many hydroxides? 4. So its covalence is 4, right? But not 6. Okay. Next, third point. I already have mentioned this. Beryllium oxide and beryllium hydroxides or amphoteric in nature. What is mean by amphoteric in nature?
Acidic and basic in nature.
They reacts with both acids and bases. Okay. Next. Next, another concept. Diagonal relationship with the aluminum, right? So what happens if it is in diagonal relationship with aluminum? What special features it is going to add to it? That we'll discuss now. Here, the first one is diagonal relationship with between beryllium and aluminum, right? This second group element, this is third group element. So what happens if they are in diagonal relationship? Okay, let's see that. Okay, so diagonal relationship means they almost have same atomic radius or ionic radius. Like beryllium is in +2 oxidation state, aluminum is in +3 oxidation state, and their size is almost very close. Ionic radius 31 picometers, almost same. Okay, not exactly 31, 32 like this. Okay, the first point in this is aluminum. Now we are comparing with this aluminum and beryllium because they are in diagonal relationship. Aluminum does not react with acids. So your beryllium also does not react with acids. Okay, no reaction with acids. Next one, why they does not react with acids? I already explained this concept. What is the reason for this? Due to the formation of oxide layer.
Oxide layer.
Okay, what is the reason? Formation of oxide layer is a reason. Formation of oxide layer is the main reason for this. So aluminum, when they react with alkalis, aluminum when reacts with the alkalis OH minus, it will form aluminum hydroxide, 4 coordination number. 4 coordination number. So 4 moles you can take here. In the same way, your beryllium will also form, right? Just now we have done this. So beryllium is also forming 4 coordination complexes. Okay. Berylate ion, that is called as. Next, third similarity between aluminum Here, beryllium is having beryllium forms bridged chlorides, right? Beryllium forms bridged chlorides in the vapor phase. This we have done just, isn't it? I gave you the that bridged complex also in vapor phase. So like this, aluminum will also form. Aluminum also forms bridged complexes. Aluminum also forms bridged chlorides. The best example is Al2Cl6. Shall I write the structure here? BeCl2 structure we know already. Your aluminum will also form bridged complexes. Here one chlorine. Look at this. This is structure of Al2Cl6. So same like Al2Cl6, your beryllium is also forming bridged chloride complexes. Have you understood this? Okay. Next one, fourth point. So here these beryllium chlorides and aluminum chlorides, BeCl2 and AlCl3, or acts as strong Lewis acids. They act as strong Lewis acids, and that's what they were used in. AlCl3 we have used in which named reactions? Tell me. Used in Friedel-Crafts reactions, isn't it? Which is used as a Friedel-Crafts catalyst. In organic, we have done that AlCl3 usage, right? Next one, fifth similarity between them is they both have, both aluminum and beryllium have tendency to form, they both have tendency to form complexes. They both form complexes. What type of complexes they will form? Beryllium will form, its maximum coordination is only 4, right? BeF2 minus, it form this type of complexes. And aluminum will form AlF6 3 minus type of complexes. So they are also forming complexes. Okay, guys. So this is about the diagonal relationship between beryllium and aluminum. What is the first one? They both does not react with acids. Second one, they both form hydroxide complexes. Next, both will have bridged chlorides, and both acts as strong Lewis acids, and they are used in Friedel-Crafts catalyst. And both forms complexes. These are the examples. Have you understood this? Next one.
Sir.
Next concept. Some important compounds of second group elements. We will discuss about some important compounds of second group elements. So mostly calcium compounds only will discuss in this. So here I'll write some important calcium compounds. So in this discussion, we were going to deal with some important compounds like calcium oxide, calcium hydroxide, and calcium carbonate, and gypsum, that is nothing but calcium sulfate and 2 moles of water, gypsum is. We'll also discuss about plaster of Paris. So these are the compounds we are going to cover. So one by one, we'll start now. What is the first compound we have? Calcium oxide, right? So the first compound I'm talking about is calcium oxide. It is also called as quicklime. Quicklime, LIME. Calcium oxide is the formula. Okay. So how it is prepared and that and all we'll see now. This calcium oxide is prepared by on decomposition of calcium carbonate. It is a reversible reaction. On heating this compound, the delta indicates heating always. Calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Here also, the carbon dioxide which is formed here, you have to remove that compound immediately. Okay, this should be removed immediately. What is the reason? To make it a forward reaction always. Okay. According to Le Chatelier principle. And this heating mentioned in this is 1072 1270 kelvins. So it is a very simple method of preparation. This is a solid, calcium oxide is a solid, and carbon dioxide is a gas. It will escape out anyway. If it is a closed, if you are doing this experiment in a closed container, you have to remove this to always have a forward reaction. According to Le Chatelier principle. Okay. And this calcium oxide property, this calcium oxide is having, it is a white amorphous, it is a white amorphous solid. Here amorphous means what? Amorphous means it is a powder form, not crystalline form. Solids are of two types, crystalline solids and amorphous solids. And this is having amorphous solid. That means it is always having a powder form and a structure will be two-dimensional structure. If it is crystalline, 3D structure, you can see this. And this having a melting point of 2870 kelvins. And it absorbs moisture and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. What it absorbs? It absorbs moisture means water and carbon dioxide. What happens? What are the reactions related? Let's see them. What is the property of this? It is absorbs moisture and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Let's say take calcium hydroxide on reaction with water. What you are going to get? Calcium hydroxide. So calcium oxide is absorbing carbon dioxide from the nature. You'll get back your reaction, right? So what is coming out? Calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. If they combine, you will get again calcium carbonate. Right. So this is about calcium carbonate. Next, its important properties we'll discuss. Next, there is a concept called slaking of lime. What is mean by slaking of lime? Slaking of lime means addition of water, only limited water, addition of limited amount of water. Breaks the lumps of lime, lumps of calcium oxide. That is called slaking of lime. Suppose if you have this is a big particle of calcium oxide and addition of water to this, it will converting into small particles. That is called slaking of lime. By the addition of water, it is happens. This is also calcium oxide. Both of them calcium oxides, but big lumps of calcium oxide breaks into smaller one. That is called slaking of lime. And this calcium oxide, this is quicklime, okay, on reaction with sodium. What is the name of this composition, guys? Can anyone answer this? In decarboxylation reaction, we have used this.
Soda lime, sir.
That's good. So what is the name of this? It is soda lime. It is used for decarboxylation. It is used for decarboxylation. This is an important composition. Okay. So this calcium oxide is basic in nature. That's what it reacts with acidic oxides like silicon dioxide, and it will form calcium silicate. What is this? It is basic in nature. It reacts with acidic oxides. And that forms, what is the name of this? Calcium silicate. Next one. Same. It is a basic in nature, so it reacts with acidic oxides like P4O10. This is also an acidic oxide. It will give you calcium phosphate. What is the name of this? Calcium phosphate. Calcium phosphate. Is it over? Okay. So these are the important points about quicklime. Its preparation is from calcium carbonate. On heating, carbon dioxide should be removed so that always you have a forward reaction. It is amorphous solid and it absorbs moisture and carbon dioxide from the atmospheric air. Slaking of lime is called addition of water makes lumps of calcium into smaller particles. That is called slaking of lime. Calcium oxide and sodium hydroxide. This is quicklime, and sodium hydroxide composition is called soda lime. Okay, soda lime. It is used for the decarboxylation. What is meant by decarboxylation, guys? Removal of carbon dioxide is called decarboxylation. Since it is basic in nature, it reacts with the acidic oxides and forms these neutral compounds. Okay, calcium silicate and calcium phosphate. Next one, its uses we'll discuss now. Uses of calcium oxide. So what are the uses of? It is mainly used in cement manufacturing. Because it is cheaply available. Okay. It is also used in sodium carbonate manufacturing. Okay. Third one. It is also used in purification of sugars, and it is also used in manufacturing of dyestuffs. Dyestuffs means colored compounds. Some color compounds are called dyestuffs. Okay, these are the uses of calcium oxide or quicklime. Okay. Note on that first. Next, we'll discuss about how much time we have. Will you give me 10 more minutes to complete one more compound? 5 minutes we have. I want 5 more minutes
Your wish, sir.
with your permission. Okay. Next compound I am taking is, listen guys, calcium hydroxide. Second compound is calcium hydroxide, is also called as Slaked lime. Slaking of lime is different, guys. This is slaked lime. And the formula is calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide. Slaking of slaked lime. Okay. This calcium hydroxide is easily prepared. The preparation method is very easy. I told you, na, just calcium oxide absorbs moisture from atmospheric air and forms calcium hydroxide. This is one way of preparing calcium hydroxide. Okay. And it is also amorphous powder. Here, one more important point. Aqueous solution of calcium hydroxide is known as lime water. What is meant by lime water? Simply says calcium hydroxide with some amount of water. That is called lime water. And another important, suspension of slaked lime. That means again calcium hydroxide only, na? Suspension of slaked lime in water. That is called as milk of lime. What is the difference between these two, guys? Both of them are mixed with water only. Okay, lime water is calcium hydroxide and water. Milk of magnesia is also saying slaked lime in water. Now, what is the difference between these? Aqueous solution means you cannot differentiate between carbon dioxide and water. That is lime water. It is a homogeneous mixture. But in suspension means in the calcium hydroxide in water, it is a full of water. In the water, some suspended particles of calcium hydroxide you can see clearly. That is suspension. That is called milk of lime. It appears like white color, so milky appearance. So that's what it is, milk of lime, suspension. Here in aqueous solution, it is a completely homogeneous mixture, calcium hydroxide and water. Okay, that is the difference between lime water and milk of lime. Okay. Next, this calcium hydroxide on reaction with carbon dioxide, chemical properties, you get calcium carbonate and water. This calcium carbonate will have color milky white color. Okay. Which color it is having? Milky white color. This properties, chemical properties only I'm discussing now. Calcium hydroxide on reaction with carbon dioxide and water at a time. They comes from atmospheric. It is going to form calcium hydrogen carbonate. What is the name of this? Calcium hydrogen carbonate. Okay. Next. Next important point. Milk of lime. It is not slaked lime. What I am taking? Milk of lime. What is milk of lime? Suspension. Suspension of slaked lime. milk of lime on reaction with chlorine in cold condition. In cold condition, reaction with chlorine 2 moles. It is forming calcium chloride and calcium oxychloride plus 2 moles of water. And this composition is called bleaching powder. Once there was a question, guys, about this. In bleaching powder, what is the oxidation state of calcium and chloride? Calcium oxychloride. This, you know, it is in +2, chlorine is always -1. But in this, the structure is different. One side chlorine and other side OCl. This chlorine, the top chlorine will always have -1 because chlorine is more electronegative. And here it is, this chlorine is attached to more electronegative oxygen atom. That's what this chlorine is +1 oxidation state. Here, these two chlorines will have two different oxidation states, -1 and +1. Important, guys, that is, okay? Next, finally, its uses. Just in 2 minutes, I will wind up the class. Just wait. So it is used as this calcium hydroxide. It is used in the preparation of mortar. What is mortar, guys? Mortar is a building material, construction purpose. It's like a cement, okay? Is building construction material. Here, this point is important. In bleaching powder, chlorine will have two different oxidation states. Okay, next one. It is also used in whitewash. Used in whitewash, just cleaning purpose, that means. Because it is having, due to its disinfectant nature. Due to its disinfectant nature. Third one, it is also used in glass making, and the tanning industry, and also used in bleaching powder manufacture, isn't it? Bleaching powder manufacturing. And just now I also mentioned about purification of sugars. So these are the uses of calcium hydroxide or slaked lime. So these are all important points. There is two more compounds left in this. So in the next class, we will finish this chapter also, second year group elements. So this is in our today's discussion. Have a look at these uses. Take a screenshot if you want. Okay, shall I stop here now? So guys and girls, please go through the class notes, second group elements. In today's discussion, you have to read till 10:30. Those who do not have any other classes. Okay, boys and girls. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
complete the second group elements now. Read all the topics that we have discussed today.
Okay, sir.
Those who have biology class, they can attend. Those who do not have, please go through our class notes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you, all of you.
Thank
Now
you,
can-
sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Okay, bye, guys and girls. Bye-bye. Stopping the screen share.